Hi, my name is Star Edwards. I'm the Healthcare Practice Director at Tiny Health, and I'm going to show you around the Tiny Health results. First, let's start with a high-level overview of what information these results are going to provide you with. First, we want to know how gut-disrupting factors like medications and antibiotics and poor diet have impacted the overall balance and wellness of the microbiome. We want to know if we have enough of the beneficial microbes and that they're doing what they need to be doing, like producing vitamins and short-chain fatty acids and helping us digest our food. And we want to make sure we don't have too many of the disruptive or unfriendly microbes that are producing toxins like LPS and hydrogen sulfide. And finally, we want to know how to support balance and homeostasis in the microbiome through specific supplements, dietary changes, and lifestyle changes. To get started, we have two ways to view results. The first is a PDF download that looks like this. And then we have this web version. Now, you can get a lot of information out of the web version. We have built-in education and information about each one of the microbes and metrics, why they matter, why they are important, and what to do about it. So you might want to look around in here a little bit if you are questioning what something means or why we are measuring it. At the bottom, we have the full microbiome breakdown. This lists all the species that were found in the patient's microbiome. Red dots mean that they are generally in the category of unfriendly, while orange is variable and green is beneficial. And then if the patient takes multiple tests, as this patient has, it will break down every test so we can get a very quick glance of if we're making progress. Now, that's a lot of microbes, and that can be a little bit overwhelming. So we have broken these down into meaningful categories like beneficial microbes and disruptive microbes. Something else I want to point out is the patient survey. And this is information that the patient provided, and we can pull this information into the recommendations and the action plan. Gut type is another metric that we look at, and the gut type for babies is very important because we want to make sure that they have a dominated bifidobacterium microbiome. However, for adults, it's a little bit different, and I can usually pull out a lot of information about diet in this section because different gut types typically prefer different foods or they thrive on different foods. So when you know which gut type prefers more of the standard American diet or a higher fiber diet, then the gut type can give you an idea about diet and digestion. The next score is the microbiome summary score. This is a percentile that takes into consideration a lot of different metrics on the test and gives an overarching measure of microbial health compared to patients of the similar age. So for this adult 18 years and up, they are at the 76th percentile for overall microbiome health and wellness, and that is considered healthy. And then we will look at the highest priority. If you click here, it will pull in what we consider to be the worst thing that we found. So from a high level, we know what we need to work on. For this patient, it's having no akkermansia. Another really cool feature that is a little bit hidden is the See All metrics. And if you click on it, you can filter by the top priority action items. Again, these are the worst things that we found, so you can scroll through here and see what we need to work on. Second priority would be under needs improvement. And then if you want to see all the normal results, then you can click here. Now we're going to click into beneficial microbes. These are microbes that we find to be very important and healthy, and in this case for adults. And if there is anything that is flagged, so gray, anything that has a little gray check mark next to it means that it's at healthy levels. If it's green, that means it's above and beyond. It's really, really good. And the red means that it is out of range. So we want grays and greens. And if we click in here to the red, you can read a little bit more about akkermansia, why it's important, why we are concerned that there is no akkermansia here. And then on the right, we have specific recommendations for how to increase that akkermansia, including specific foods that will help akkermansia to thrive. And if you look at the list of foods and the patient likes anything they see on here, they want to try it, they can bookmark it. With any of our recommendations, they're able to bookmark it, and then they can go over to the bookmark section on the left-hand side and see everything that they bookmarked. Another feature is this common probiotic species. Our scientists have mapped out the genomes of a lot of different common probiotics, and if we find any of those in the sample, they will be listed here as well. Next is our disruptives. Those are those unfriendly bacteria, those opportunistic pathogens. And we list candida or fungal overgrowth as well as parasites. And then we have an antibiotic resistance signature. After we take antibiotics or we're exposed to a lot of antibiotics in foods, then typically our antibiotic resistance goes up. Over time, if we're not exposed to those antibiotics anymore, this score should improve. So by following this, we can make sure that the microbiome has recovered from that antibiotic exposure. We also have some gut inflammation markers, and I do want to point out that if you click into some of these, then you can scroll down for hydrogen sulfide, for example, if you want to see who is in the microbiome that's producing hydrogen sulfide. Then there is a full list here of all the microbes that are producing hydrogen sulfide. Now, this section, these are indices. And in each one of these indexes, we are able to look at not only who is there that is producing the LPS or the hydrogen sulfide, or who is a mucus degrader, so based on taxonomy, but because we are using shotgun sequencing, we are able to capture all the genes in the sample who code for this function, no matter who they come from. So regardless of who's there producing it, we will be able to capture all the genes that will code for LPS production or hydrogen sulfide production, for example. So this gives us an extra layer of accuracy and functionality that your normal PCR 16S testing isn't able to accomplish. We also have short chain fatty acids, and there's lots of good dietary recommendations in each one of these if these are low. And then digestion and absorption markers. For adults, you can really get a lot of really good information here about their diet and what they're able to digest, or what the bacteria are able to digest. And then if we increase some of these foods that we're low in, then we're feeding those bacteria who like to digest these things, and hopefully we can help them come back and flourish. So we look at protein breakdown or proteolytic fermentation, vitamin production, fiber digestion, and complex sugar digestion. We also look at balance and robustness. We have our diversity score here, the Shannon diversity, a measure of how many bacteria or how many microbes are in the microbiome and if they are in the correct balance. We have dysbiosis ratios or gut ratios, and phyla as well. And then we have microbial enzymes and metabolites, including histamine-producing species and beta-glucuronidase-producing species. Now, if we go over to the action plan, all the actions that we saw, or all the recommendations we saw when we clicked into each one of those markers, will also show up here. So if it was flagged as red as needing support, it will show up in this category. If it was shown up as needing improvement, it will be here in this category. And then anything that was listed in the survey, like they were concerned about eczema or constipation or GI issues, then we will pull in specific recommendations for those items into this section. We also have a lot of really good resources here and in the guide section on the left-hand side that are very specific to the patient, what they're concerned about. And for each of these recommendations, we do provide some foods, and we do provide some supplements and other lifestyle recommendations and supplements specific to what the patient is concerned about and what we found in the results.